Hello, my name is Russell Singer with the Avaya Serviceability Engineering team. This video will demonstrate how to generate and save an Avaya Aura Conferencing 7 Debug Report. The Avaya Aura Conferencing 7 Debug Report essentially is a zip file that contains all pertinent log and trace data from the Avaya Aura Conferencing server. Typically, if you're working with an Avaya support engineer, they may ask you to generate one of these debug reports after a problem has occurred in order to capture the pertinent log information. So this video will demonstrate for you how to generate that debug report in zip file and then save it to your PC. In order to generate this debug report, you do need to be logged into the Element Manager console of your Avaya Aura Conferencing 7 system. That is the window that I have open here. And to get started, I'm actually first going to turn on an extra debugging flag. There's no need to do this for a general debug report that you wanted to generate. However, there may be cases where a support engineer from Avaya has asked you to turn on this flag before generating the report. So I'll demonstrate for you how to do that first. We'll start by going under the Feature Server Elements folder on the left. And then we'll expand the Media Servers and Clusters folder, then the Media Servers folder, and then the Media Server 1. In this case, that's because it's the only media server I have. If you had multiple media servers, you would want to turn this flag on for any of those which are applicable to your test. So under the Log Processing folder here, we want to choose the Log Configuration option. This pops up a small window for us which allows us to enable the debug trace for that media server. So we'll go ahead and select that option. Again, this is not something you would have to do anytime you want to generate a debug report for your Avaya Aura Conferencing. However, in the case that an engineer asks you to do it, this is where you would come to do that. So you select that option and then click the Apply button. Now you'll notice you're presented with a warning box there that pops up. This is just a warning because you have enabled debug mode. Now from this point, what you would do is duplicate or replicate the problem that you're having to ensure that it is captured as part of the log zip file that you'll be collecting. Now once the problem has been replicated and duplicated, you would want to come back to the Element Manager console here, and now you're ready to download this log zip file. So for that, you'll go back under the Log Processing folder there and select the Log Download option. This pops up a small window for you which will allow you to include the debug trace logs that you had enabled earlier as part of this download. And then you would simply select the Download button. At this point, there is no need to include a video capture, and in fact, that option is not applicable to most of the AAC7 versions that are out there today. So we'll select Include Debug Trace Logs and click the Download button. This will prompt you for a local folder on your PC to save the zip file in. And now you're going to click the Save button. Now depending on your connection to the server and the amount of data being collected and downloaded, the download process itself may take a couple of minutes. However, just wait for the downloading button there to change its status. And once the download is complete, you should receive a Download Completed dialog box as you see here on the screen. That should indicate to you that the log has been successfully downloaded to your PC in the folder that you selected previously. Now before you exit from this interface, it is very important to remember to go back and disable the debug trace. So we'll go back to the log configuration and we'll uncheck the Enable Debug Trace option there in the pop-up, and then we'll select Apply. We do get a warning again which doesn't contain any data. You'll notice that at this point the alarm banner up at the top of the window there has changed from blue to green again, indicating that there are no more alarms or warnings associated with this Avaya Aura Conferencing server. Now let's take a look at some of the contents of that log zip file that you just downloaded. So I'll find that file on my PC here in the directory that I saved it to earlier. You'll notice that it is a zip file. And if we unzip that file, there's actually a logs directory there. And inside this logs directory, you will find some basic information about the server itself, such as active alarms, active sessions, the security logs, the platform logs, and things like that. The detailed logs themselves are actually in the logs subdirectory there. So for example, you have here the MSML log, which is the communication protocol used between the media servers and the application server. You'll also find a SIP trace log here if you wanted to view just the SIP messages to and from the Avaya Aura Conferencing server. You'll also notice that there are several revisions of the same type of log file, and this is simply a rollover mechanism that's used by the conferencing server. So the most recent log entries would be in the log file without a number, but at this point that zip file which contains all of these logs is ready to be sent to the Avaya support engineer that you're working with. Thank you for your time today. We welcome your comments, questions, and feedback at mentor@avaya.com or on Twitter at Avaya Mentor. For more details or related information, please visit support.avaya.com. Thank you for choosing Avaya.